Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on the time zone of the country that you are watching us from. A very warm welcome to yet another edition of Primetime AMA from TLR Now. I'm your host, Nalin Chandna. I am the CEO with National Gas Company of Oman. I'm also a leadership coach, trainer, and an inspirational speaker. TLR Now has been conducting these sessions on Primetime AMA, and today we are having a very special guest, Mr. Khalid Wahabi. TLR Now is a niche training and consulting firm. They are based out of India. They've got presence across the Indian subcontinent and the Middle East, and they're expanding further. Mr. Khalid, thank you so much for coming. We are really honored to have you with us today as our guest. Mr. Khalid has studied international business and political science from Washington. He has close to 3 decades of progressively running a renowned and well-diversified business group in Oman. He is a managing director of Assarain Group of companies. Assarain has got interest in retail and consumer services, commercial wholesale, manufacturing, construction, and property services. The group started its operations in 1975, and over the decades, it has been in the forefront of the nation's progress, contributing to the growth of industries in Oman. Diversity and innovation have always remained the cornerstones, which has resulted in the group's phenomenal success and growth. With significant impact in every facet of the economic activity in the country, Assarain Group continues to contribute towards the ongoing resurgence in Oman. Besides successfully managing the group, Mr. Khalid also chairs a major asset financing company. He is also the vice chairman of a gas company, and he sits on the board of a major bank in the Sultanate. Mr. Khalid is an active sportsman and has avid interest in equestrian sports and photography. Welcome, sir. We are really honored to have you here today.
Good afternoon, Alan. Thank you very much. Thank you for hosting me on the show, and I wish you best of luck.
Thank you, sir. It's our honor. So, sir, we'll start right away. I understand that you've got very limited time. You've got a very important meeting.
Unfortunately, yes.
So, but we are really glad that you could still make it despite your urgent engagement that came in. We'll quickly try to take up the questions. We have the format of the program is like this. I have some questions from my side, and we've got live audience watching you over YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And we'll have some questions coming in here. So depending on the time we have, we'll take up the questions, sir.
Sure.
So I'll start with just wanting to understand in terms of your progression with your education, early years of your career, and then reaching the helm of affairs today where you are. So just tell us about something.
Sure. Thank you, Alan. I graduated high school from Oman, and that was in 1988. And then I traveled to the United States, and I studied in Pacific Lutheran University in Seattle, Washington. And I had 2 degrees, one in political science, and the second was international business. Came back in 1994 and started working in the family business. Started as a marketing, I would say, officer. And from there, I started progressing into operations, and finally, I became the managing director of the group in probably 7-8 years back. Briefly, that's my progression in the group.
Right.
And I represented the group in a few other investments. I started with the Omania Financial Services back in 1996. And we were investors in the company. We were one of the promoters. I was on the board since then, and I've been the chairman now for the last 12 years, if I remember right. And the other company I'm involved with is the National Gas Company. Again, I think it's been over 15 years. I think, Nalin, I've been there on the board.
You've been there before me. I've been there 10 years.
Exactly, I was there before you. Exactly, and I just recently been appointed in the board of Bandafar.
Yes. Yeah.
And besides that, I was heavily involved in sports in Oman. I was the chairman of Muscat Football Club. And as a family, we're all actually into sports. My elder brother Salim, he's the He's the chairman of the Oman Football Association. My brother Hamid was a very well-known rally driver. He competed in the World Rally Championship with some success, alhamdulillah. And my younger brother's son, actually my nephew, started racing in the Porsche GT Cup for the last 2 years. So we're involved in sports besides the business itself. Yeah, that's my progression briefly.
That's absolutely awesome, sir. Absolutely awesome. So I mean, working for a group like this, taking the business along, and such a diversified group. Obviously, there are so many decisions you are taking day in, day out. But if I would to ask you, what is one decision that you took which you are most proud of?
Decision I was proud of. Actually, there's a lot of decisions that I was proud of, but the main one was joining the group. That was my I would say my pride. In 1994, when I came back, I was thinking of joining the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but then I thought about it, and I said, no, let me get into the family business, and it's been one hell of a learning curve, I would say. I'm very proud of being in the family group, running the business with my brothers. Yeah, so I would say that was my I'm proud, very, very, very proud of that decision.
Absolutely, must be there. Must be. The way the group has progressed in the stewardship is amazing.
Thank you.
So, sir, if I would reverse the question and ask you, what is one decision that you regret having taken?
I would. Tough question to be honest with you, Nalan. Very tough to answer, but I don't have any regrets. Yes, I made a lot of as human beings we do make mistakes, and yes, there are some decisions that were wrong that I made. Then I wouldn't say I regret them. No, I wouldn't regret any decision I took. I just learned from the mistakes that I did and move forward. If I sat there and started regretting all the decisions that I've taken, I won't be anywhere.
True. Absolutely, sir. Wonderful. So you are an inspiration to many people. So many people within the country.
I wouldn't say that.
No, sir, I wouldn't agree with that. You definitely are. But who do you look up for inspiration, or who has been a mentor to you along in your journey?
Well, I have two, to be honest with you. One is direct, and the other is indirect. I'll start with indirect. The late His Majesty Sultan Qaboos was a huge inspiration for all of the Omanis and for myself, especially. His wisdom, the way he brought the country from the dark ages, I would say, to the light. 50 years of hard work and dedication. A huge inspiration for me. The other direct inspiration would be my father. Again, he started his business. He had nothing. Started with absolutely nothing, and he progressed and started this business. And alhamdulillah, we are where we are at the moment because of those two persons, I would say, direct and indirect.
Sir, I mean, we are in unprecedented times. Coronavirus has hit every geography, so to speak. And it's tough time for all the countries, whether it is the political parties, whether it is the businesses, whether it is individuals. Everybody has been impacted. So in these unprecedented times, how do you keep your teams motivated, and how do you keep the business charged up? Because there's a lot of anxiety among us people at the moment.
For sure, it's extremely tough times for everyone, for the whole world, globally or locally. But if we talk about our group, we believe that our main assets is our people, and you cannot put a value on them. To be honest with you, we are very proud to have the number of people that we have, the quality of people. So what the main thing that we need to do, or we've been doing, is ensuring them that they will not be as they think they would be. We've taken some really, I would say, progressive and forward decisions when it comes to the employees. We haven't in any way touched or thought about looking at their packages or their reduction in salaries. We left that as the last option. And I don't think that we're going to be heading towards that, to be honest with you. the more they're happy with you, the more they're happy in their work environment, they will definitely perform more and better than if they're living in fear or living in doubt about their future, about their livelihood. Their livelihood is very, very, very important to us, be it their financial livelihood or their I would say their medical or health issues. We are very, very, very aggressive when it comes to solving any issue that we have when it comes to COVID-19. Anybody getting affected, we take full care of them. Alhamdulillah, we've been B2B from our from the workers to the top management. Everybody's treated the same. We take care of them, and that keeps them motivated. To be honest with you, I mean, that's all that we could do at the moment. You know, without them, we won't be anywhere. To be honest with you.
I think that's the true spirit. Actually, the employers have to behave much more responsibly, and I think that's what the companies should be doing. That's really awesome to know. At the same time, I'll keep requesting our audience to ask any question that they have from Mr. Khalid. There's an opportunity which we'll not get regularly. It's very difficult to catch Mr. Khalid. So I would sincerely request if audience has any questions. In the meantime, we'll just keep on chatting. So what are the key attributes for business leaders to be successful in today's times when we talk about times of crisis?
You see, every leader or every person has his own way of thinking, has his own way of, and I wouldn't, you cannot criticize anybody's decision. You know, no one knows we cannot judge on somebody else's decision because we don't know what he's going through. But I think people have to be honest with you, have to be optimistic. We cannot continue just complaining about COVID and saying it's going to get us or it's here or whatever the case may be. We have to deal with it. We have to adapt to it. The only way out of this is adaptation. We have to adapt to the situation itself. I see a lot of positives that we learned from this. Yes, it's been here for the last, I would say, 6 months since it started in China, but there's a lot that needs to be learned. There's a lot of mistakes that everyone did, and we just need to fix it and move forward. But we cannot sit dwelling about it without being positive. To be honest with you, we have to just adapt to it and face all these challenges. And there are solutions to everything. We just have to be calm, collected, and let's not take decisions. Cannot be taken in crisis. You know, it has to be taken in a calm way. To be honest.
True. Yeah. I think mental balance is very important for the leaders.
For sure.
Absolutely.
It's very tough, to be honest with you, to keep to stay mentally balanced. In these situations, it's very, very difficult. But we have to. There is no way around it. Some days I have really, really bad days, to be honest. And some days I'm just, I have to come out of it and move forward. And that's the only way that my people can follow. If I'm just being negative, it will trickle down to them, and negativity will control us. But we have to be positive and pull each one up.
Yeah, we can only give what we have. So if we have hatred, jealousy, anger, that's what we're going to pass on to others. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we've got a question from the audience. Ansh is asking, sir, as a leader, how do you deal with a management decision backfiring?
I just saw that question, to be honest with you. Yes, there will be decision that's going to backfire, but it has to be a collective decision. That's the way I work. I work in a team environment. At the end of the day, yes, the decision will fall on my table, the final decision. If it goes wrong, then I will take the blame for it. But if it's and that's the way I work. If it goes well, then the whole team gets credit for it. Some decision will definitely backfire, but again, it's the same thing with COVID. If we sit there and say, "Oh, it backfired on me, and I can't get out of it," it's not going to happen. You will not progress. So you have to face whatever bad decision you took, or whatever decision that backfired on us, and just try to solve it and move forward. Again, positivity, that is the main thing.
Absolutely. So we have to look forward. Yeah, that's right. We've got another question that it is true to manage mental balance, but financial losses for SMEs with no market support is making things tough. So I think that's a market situation that is quite
tough
at the moment.
It is. Be it be SMEs or major corporates, everyone is suffering. Everyone is suffering at the moment.
Yeah. It's beyond everybody's control. Yeah.
Exactly.
The other one is somebody is asking, Afreen Zaman, is it feasible to travel to the Gulf regions in the coming months to explore better opportunities? Yeah, I think during the pandemic time, a lot of
It's
jobs
tough.
have been lost. And
Exactly.
It is tough. Yeah.
Exactly. I
It's
think
not
at the
going to
moment
be very
it's not the
positive.
right decision. You have to be patient and wait for things to settle and move. And I would say when things start settling and we'll know where things are going, then it'll be the right time to explore new opportunities. But at the moment, sit tight.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So do you set specific time to cast vision to the employees? Because for a organization to progress, you need to have a great vision. So do you have specific interactions? How do you do that regular interaction exercise with your teams?
Well, I have an open door policy, to be honest with you. Yes, we do meet every quarter as a whole team, and we discuss a lot of things. And I encourage ownership in them, where they own these decisions. They or ideas or suggestions, they have to own it. But yes, I would say once a quarter as an official thing. But it's done on a daily basis. I meet with my I would say with my people almost on a daily basis, and we're always interacting. And there's new ideas every day, and I encourage my people to come up with ideas, to think outside the box. We cannot
Right.
how business was run. I would say 5 years ago. I wouldn't go 20 or 30 years back. I would say 5 years back. It's not going to work in these days or in the future. So we have to be innovative. We have to be creative and think outside the box. But my time is, I would say, again, to me, it's a daily process.
Right. Yeah, it's a constant work. You cannot have one day of interaction and then you just go into a silo.
Exactly. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. No. And then people will tend to forget their ideas. We have to encourage them to come up with ideas all the time. So
yeah, especially in these times when people are quite reluctant to come up with creative ideas because
exactly
it might backfire on them as well.
Exactly.
So okay, so we have got another question. Africa is going to be bad soon, mainly landlocked country like Zambia, where the economy is not very great. So I think it's more like a comment that he's making. Yeah. So we've got another question from Ankur Vermani. He's saying, Mr. Khalid, good evening. How do you see global businesses evolving after pandemic? What are the key business ideas you envisage to evolve in the next decade or so?
Good evening, Ankur. Let me just read the question again. How do you see global business evolving? Well, so business will have again. I went back. I will go back to my to the previous point where people have to adapt. We have to adapt to this situation. Again, we have to sit down and just see what mistakes we've done, or how, I wouldn't call them mistakes. What improvements can we make on running the business after COVID, during and after? The most important thing is not during COVID. During COVID is just, I would say, survival. You have to be in survival mode. But after COVID, you have to get ready from now how business will be run. A lot of digitalization, a lot of, I would say, just the business model will change. It's going to change in. I don't think we even touched the tip of the iceberg there. I would say focus on the youth. They have a lot of ideas that we at our age or our generation wouldn't be thinking about. They will be your customer. It's the next generation. Encourage them, encourage your people, encourage your to come up with ideas, with innovative, but focus on the youngsters. They have a lot of ideas, don't shut them down.
Right.
And trust me, you're going to get a lot of ideas, a lot of some great ideas that they're going to come out of them.
Sir, coming back to this question from Zambia, he says that Zambia is a land of opportunities, but he believes that support is almost zero from the government. So I think governmental role has to be there for the country's progress. I think that is something you would love
for sure.
talk
For
about
sure,
that.
it's teamwork. It has to be government and the private sector have to work together. They have to
Together.
work as a team to get out of this situation. We cannot just sit there and say, okay, we'll leave it to the government to take the decisions, and we'll just sit back, or the other way around. It's not going to work. Both sides have to work together. It's a collective. I would say collective decision has to be made.
Absolutely. The next question is from Abhinav Sethi. He's asking, good evening, Khalid sir. How to keep team spirit high as most of the businesses are deferring new projects?
Oh, it's very tough, to be honest with you. It's extremely tough. But again, it doesn't mean that, okay, if there are deferred projects, you will have time to get your team together and think about new ideas, new thoughts. Just keep their minds working. Don't just sit there and just wait for things to happen. Go after things, That's the way I look at it. Free time, utilize the free time in a positive way to encourage your people to start thinking and being creative. Yeah. Basically, that's one of the main things that you could do.
Absolutely. So the next question we have is more like a product or service launch. So what are the different things to look at when bringing a new product or service in the market? I mean, you've got a lot of experience in this field, sir.
What are different things to look at when bringing a new product? You have to look at the market, actually. What's the need of the market itself? Yeah. For the moment, for the short term and the long term, you have to think about the long term as well. Again, things after COVID will change. The business will be run faster. Decisions will be made faster. Things will change. So you need to think about the future. What is required in your market for today and for the next few years. Being innovative, to be honest with you.
True. Okay. So what are the key qualities besides academic qualifications that you would look for when you hire people?
I would say, for me, two very important things. One is creativity, and that's thinking outside the box. And two, being able to argue with me. Simple as that. That's the way I look at it. I don't look at. Excuse me for saying this, but I don't want a yes man. It's not going to work. I want somebody to challenge me, to challenge my ideas, to challenge my thinking. That's what I look for, to be honest with you. The guy could be the best qualities out there, qualified to the max, but when it comes to getting these thoughts or ideas across, and he wouldn't sell them to me in the right way, it's not going to work. So I would rather have someone less qualified, but he can argue and sit there with me, and we could face off.
Right. Sure. Right. So what do you do to ensure you continue to grow and develop as a leader? Because we are all work in progress. So what's your daily dose of development and growth?
Depending on my team.
Yeah,
very, very simple, to be honest with you. I have to depend on my team. Yes, I do try to be, but I need to get that motivation from their side as well. Get their ideas, work with them in the growth of not just my growth, their growth as well, and the group. It's at the end of the day, it's teamwork, and that's. It might be people might be saying, "What is he saying?" But this is the way I deal with things. I'm a team person. I'm a people's person. I like to work with people. I like to listen to their ideas. There's a lot of good ideas out there. If you give them the chance to explore these ideas, ownership, empowering them, and that's what gives me the motivation to move forward. And as a leader, at the end of the day, I cannot. Not all of us have the capacity or the knowledge to know everything. So the way to success is knowing how to lead your people. They are the ones who will be running. They are the ones with the ideas. They are the ones with the, I would say, with the thoughts. So you need to empower them, give them the chance to go out there and explore ideas and come to you with them, and so it's, at the end of the day, it's teamwork. That's the way I look at it.
Right. The other question that we have, Mr. Uday Shankar is asking, how soon do you think Oman will come out of COVID-19?
Question I don't have a crystal ball, to be honest with you, but I'm hoping soon. I'm really, really hoping soon. I think we are reaching the peak. And the government is doing an excellent job in trying to contain this virus and containing the spread of it. So we just have to go through the cycle. It's a cycle that every country goes through. Some countries already passed it and they're coming out of it. And inshallah, soon we will come out of it. I would say another couple of months till we start seeing. But that's from a medical point of view. When it comes to the economic side, it's going to take another couple of years. It takes time to revive. It will take time.
Yeah, especially the hospitality.
Again, exactly. The hospitality, the tourism. But in general, the whole economy, it's going to be tough for the next year or two. We have to be ready for it. We have to, again, sit tight and just ride the wave, and have the belief that we can come out of it, inshallah. But the COVID-19 itself, I think by the end of the year, hopefully, there's a lot of good news about the vaccine and all that. So hopefully by the end of the, inshallah, after 1 year, we're going to look back at this and we're going to say, well, we went through this. It's going to be written in our history, all of us.
Yeah. 2020 would be definitely a year.
Exactly.
For our generation. Exactly. So Assarain Group is doing extremely well and you've demonstrated that progress. But what does success mean to you and what's the way forward for the group?
Success, Nalin, is it's a tough word, to be honest with you. Everybody takes success in a different manner or a different way of thinking. But my success would be the success of my people, the growth of my people, the growth of the company, growth of the people, the livelihood of everyone that's involved in a Assarain Group. If they're living a happy life and they're growing, that's the success, I would say. It's not a personal success, it's a team success at the end of the day.
Absolutely. So we've got one of your fan who's saying, while listening to you, I Googled about your profile. I must say you have a very inspiring and admirable profile. Some of your thoughts are well applied and taken in today's world: survival, following things which you have not been able to do, teamwork, digitalization, and being open to ideas. Could you please put in a few more of your valuable thoughts, ideas, and suggestions on survival in business?
Thank you, Avi. Thank you very much for your kind words. Basically, I don't think there's more that can be said, to be honest with you. When I say survival mode, everybody has his own way of surviving. Being positive, that's very, very, very important. Again, you cannot live in a negative world. You can't. You have to know that today we're going through COVID. God knows what's going to happen in the next 5 years, 10 years. There might be another pandemic out there or whatever it is. If we don't learn from this pandemic, I think in the last, before COVID-19, we took a lot of things for granted, and we learned, through COVID. Personally, I learned a lot of things. Being humble is very, very, very important. Being positive is extremely, extremely important. And yes, organizing your time to think about new ideas, about new ways of surviving, and beyond survival, growth after COVID-19. But I would say what I would definitely, being positive is the way forward, and being cautious as well.
True. Absolutely. The next question we have from Atulya Sharma: how can companies deliver better outcomes and avoid crisis paralysis in these extraordinary times?
How can they deliver better? Actually, I think I would take a step back and say, learning from what happened during COVID. You really need to sit there and digest it, and you really have to sit there and trickle down to every decision that you've been taken. Did it work? If things worked through during COVID, that means you're brilliant. You did a great job. If you can survive COVID, you can survive anything. So I think what we need to do is we need to get back to the roots, see what decisions that we took that did not work during COVID, and then fix them and move forward. That will get you a long way. It will take you a long way for sure.
Right. Awesome. Mr. Khalid, I'm conscious of your time, and I understand that you have to rush for another meeting, but really thankful for you to have come on our platform and address the audience. It was really, really great having you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I would like to thank everybody who joined. With my, I would say, short experience in life and business, I hope that it puts a positive thoughts in people here who followed us. And I wish I had more time to be available for you guys, but definitely for sure in the future, yes, we can.
Yeah, we'd love to have you again, sir, because you've just it's been just an appetizer. We want the food really more. So
anytime, Nalan, anytime. And I'd like to apologize again for the short time, but during COVID-19, there's a lot of things that needs to be done, and it's a non-stop process, to be honest with you. Be a weekend or non-weekend, we have to be there.
Absolutely, sure, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nalan. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.